Hi, and welcome back to English Lessons with Stephanie. This is Grammar Lesson 11, Tag Questions. So what are tag questions? Well, they're short yes or no questions at the end of a non-question sentence. So here on the left, you'll see examples of regular questions, where the verb comes before the subject. We just talked about questions in Grammar Lesson 10. So in these examples, the verb comes before the subject. Do you speak English? Is she your cousin? In tag questions, we make a basic subject-verb sentence, and then we do the verb-subject question at the end. So instead of saying, do you speak English, we say, you speak English, don't you? Or, she's your cousin, isn't she? The meaning of most questions is that right? Or correct? So when you say, you speak English, don't you? You're saying, you speak English, is that right? Or she's your cousin, is that correct? How do we make tag questions? Let's start with how we go from negative to positive, which is easier. So you can start with a negative sentence, like you don't eat meat, and then you put a positive question at the end. Do you? You use the same helping verb and the same subject that are in the sentence. So you don't eat meat, do you? She wasn't there, was she? It's not raining, is it? Super easy, right? So let's practice. Take these negative questions and add the positive tag questions at the end. Pause the video and try to work out these 8 tag questions. These are the answers you should have come up with. You're not serious, are you? Penguins can't fly, can they? Sharon wasn't here last week, was she? The children aren't awake, are they? He didn't leave yet, did he? It won't snow tonight, will it? So here, see that won't is the contraction for will not. So you will change it back to will. I'm not late, am I? And my father isn't here, is he? Now let's talk about how we take positive statements and make negative tag questions. This is actually the more common form. Now when we go from positive to negative, we have to make a contraction. That's a short form. So when we say they live here, we say don't they? It's the same as saying do they not, which we can also say. We can say they live here, do they not? But that sounds a little more formal. When we're talking, we almost always make the contraction form. They live here, don't they? He can do it, can't he? She is angry, isn't she? You're winning, aren't you? They called you, didn't they? We'll be late, won't we? And I'm your best friend, aren't I? This last example is a little different because we don't say I are, we say I am your best friend. However, when we make a contraction, we can't say amn't I, it just sounds weird. So we use aren't I. We say aren't I just for pronunciation purposes. If we don't make a contraction and we say am I not, we use am. So let's practice. Take these positive sentences and make negative tag questions, making sure you use the contraction form. When you're finished, unpause the video to see the answers. Here are the answers you should have come up with. You're Diego's uncle, aren't you? They can come early, can't they? Mary was sick last week, wasn't she? Elephants can swim, can't they? He made breakfast, didn't he? Now for number 5, because there's no helping verb in the sentence, he made breakfast, we have to use the helping verb do. And made is the past tense of make, so we use did, which is the past tense of do. They'll win the game, won't they? And I already told you about it, didn't I? Number 7 is very similar to number 5. Because there's no helping verb in the sentence, we use do, and because told is the past tense of tell, we use did. When do we use tag questions? Typically, we use tag questions when we're unsure about something. That means we don't know 100% if something is correct. Maybe we're pretty sure, so we'll say something like, Mary's good at math, isn't she? And they know how to do it, don't they? So you're saying, I think Mary is good at math, but you're asking the person to confirm it, to also agree with you. Secondly, we can also use tag questions when we want to invite others to share an opinion. That means we want to know what other people think. So I can give my opinion, that was a terrible game, and ask someone else, well, what did you think of the game? So that was a terrible game, wasn't it? or I just love donuts. Don't you? The second example is a little bit different because instead of using the same subject in the sentence I, you change the subject to include you, the person you're talking to. So let's practice. Make tag questions here that invite someone else to agree with you or to share an opinion. It's exactly the same as our first two practices, just here is more practice. So pause the video to work out these answers and then unpause it. That house is really ugly, isn't it? Our boss is so unfair, isn't he or isn't she? These shoes are so expensive, aren't they? I hate getting up early, don't you? So this is an example when you want to change the subject from I to you. She'll help me, won't she? And you can drive, can't you? And finally, it's getting late, I'm so tired, aren't you? So to review, tag questions are used with yes or no statements. Tag questions can go negative to positive or positive to negative with contraction. And tag questions are used to confirm an idea or invite an opinion. That's it for today. Keep practicing. Get the Class 11 grammar worksheet from the website to do more practice with tag questions. If you're enjoying these free videos, if you're enjoying these free classes, please be sure to like, comment, ask questions, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks, and see you next time.